wow, the real ones are still coming in to replace the frauds. Former Las Vegas Raiders defensive coordinator Gus Bradley was supposed to bring the bend but don't break defense, but instead, he ended up bringing the bend and break defense. I thought it was going to be cover 1, cover 3, press bail, but it ended up being all bail and all cover 3. 1st and 10, keep it in front of you. 3rd and 6, keep it in front of you. 4th and 3, keep it in front of you. He even runs that cover 3 zone deep in his own red zone. That's why the Raiders had the worst red zone defense in the NFL. But just like Josh McDaniels is here to improve the red zone offense, he hired defensive coordinator Patrick Graham away from the New York Giants to improve the red zone defense. In 2021 with the Giants, Graham had the number 5 ranked red zone defense in the NFL with 0 Pro Bowlers to 2 for the Raiders. Graham doesn't have any major accomplishments yet, but he's one of the most respected assistant coaches in the NFL. He has been called a defensive savant and one of the young defensive geniuses coming up, like a Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, but on the defensive side of the ball. When he's talking to you, you can feel his swagger. You can feel his passion. You can feel his desire. And you can feel his ambition as you can clearly see that he is seeking a head coaching job one day. Listen.
I'm not going to get caught up on what I deserve and all that stuff like that. To me, 10 wins in 2 years is 10 wins. I get that. This is a production league. Now, if you dive into the tape and you watch what we've done on the field, you're going to see, okay, there's something different about this defensive side of the ball and what they've been able to weather. Then you, again, when you're going through the process, then you start watching the press conferences. How's this guy handling? What are people saying about him? Again, the players, that's one thing. What are opposing offensive coaches saying about him? To me, right there, that's where the intrigue would lie. And so from there, again, if you're doing your due diligence, you would dive into it. So you might call Sean McVay and say, hey, so why'd you say that about Patrick Graham's defense? You might ask, the head coach from Philadelphia, why are you saying this about their defense? Why are you saying this in press conference? You start to do your due diligence. Why are people saying this stuff? And so now you start to hear about the football part from the football people. You're not relying on the media or the wins, because there's always, again, whether you look at statistics, there's always some hidden meaning behind the numbers. So 10 wins is 10 wins. That's not good enough. But what's behind that? Okay, then you start to see where the defense is ranked. Okay, the field position battles, what was playing into that in terms of defense not, and you start to just dive into it and just do your due diligence there. And I would say is this, again, I've been different places. I've been at the peak. I've been in the lowest valley possible. And I've been around this league for a long time. I've gained the respect of the players. I've gained the respect of coaches throughout the league that don't even know me. To me, those are all signs that this guy knows what he's talking about. This is a sign where even in the most difficult situation, I'm watching the tape from week 1 to week 18, and those guys are still, why are they still playing like that? Because we all know there's sometimes when guys take those plays off, those games off. Why are those guys playing like that? This guy's a motivator of men. These men talk about him like that. He finds a way to motivate him even when this looks dire. I would want to dive into that and find out. Again, doesn't mean I deserve the job. I just ask that you interview me.
And as far as his scheme goes, it depends on who he's playing that week. He was taught by Bill Belichick. This is a Sports Illustrated article about him back in September by Greg Bishop. I'm just going to go through bits and pieces of it. It says the important thing he notices: most defensive specialists don't adjust like Belichick. They use a base structure, either a 4-3 or a 3-4, with varied coverages and fronts mixed in. His boss changes every week, beginning to play more nickel and dime coverages, sometimes even on first down before the wrinkle becomes an NFL staple. He collects versatile defensive backs to counter the addition of so many wideouts and rotates players all over the field. Graham watched this closely, cognizant of the invaluable experience. Belichick taught him that flexibility matters far more than convention, that movable pieces yield confusion when they're shifted around, that good football players should shape elite defenses based on their individual strengths rather than the other way around. Belichick encouraged staff members to meet regularly just to brainstorm, and Graham began dropping by the offices of future head coaches Brian Flores, Matt Patricia, Mike Vrabel, and Joe Judge. He calls them quote-unquote fundamentalists in that they approach football from a purist standpoint. The focus trained on situational awareness, fundamentals, and creativity. Now we're going to bump down in the article a little bit. I'm going to start around mid-paragraph. It says its defenses played in 3-4 alignments and 4-3-1s. They switched from man to zone to hybrids of both. They defended Tom Brady, disguised coverages far differently than Andy Dalton, make him throw deep, installing upwards of 25 new packages every week, even after near-perfect ones. Here it is in his own words.
The scheme is always based on the people. So again, the people are going to be different. You can try to, everybody's going to do it. They're going to try to look at a body type and try to say, oh, this guy's like this guy they use, and this guy's like this guy they use, which is fine, but the scheme is going to be based on the people. And until I get to know the people here, I don't want to speak for those guys. I haven't really met everybody there, but like in terms of just the scheme will be reflective of the people and what's needed for that game plan. But you can anticipate it being multiple, if that makes sense. People ask 4-3-3-4. I say yes. So I answer to both of them. So you can say 2-4, yes. 3-3-5, yes. Whatever number however you want to rearrange the front 7, the whole 11, yes. And we'll see what happens.
And it's funny you mentioned that because at head coach Joe Judge's press conference, he talked about customizing the defensive scheme and things as basic as the front, week to week based on your opponent. So as someone that's going to be teaching this from week to week, what are the challenges to having a variable defense each week based on your opponent?
See, no matter what, in terms of the structure of the defense, in my opinion, this is my opinion, in terms of the structure of the defense, whether it's, 3-4, 4-3, 4-2, if you're talking about nickel, 4-2-5, whatever you want to look at, it comes down to the fundamentals. In terms of stopping and running, you're setting the edge, building the wall. So it doesn't matter how the people are lined up. When the ball snaps, we got to build a wall. We got to make sure we got a good edge. You can set an edge from a 3-4. You can set an edge from a 4-3. Passing game, you got to make sure you're playing your leverage. So whether it's cover 1, 3, 2, whatever it may be, we could play that all those groupings. We got to win our leverage and defend the deep part of the field. And then after that, you got to tackle. So again, is it hard to teach that? Now you start with the fundamentals. If everybody understands the fundamental, what we're trying to do and who we're trying to take away, then how we deploy the guys in terms of the structure of the defense, not irrelevant, but we can figure that out. Because you got to give the guys credit. They do a good job. You got to think about how much information they gather in 1 week for one opponent. Then Sunday's over, they have to wipe that clean and get ready for another opponent.
The Raiders are really trying to get there now. Owner Mark Davis got a real one, a good offensive mind in Josh McDaniels to be the head coach. And in turn, he went and got himself a real one in Patrick Graham, a brilliant defensive mind, to be his defensive coordinator. I can't wait to see how this shakes out. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.